Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Autumn and today I'm going to be doing an everyday makeup look that I'm currently doing at the moment. So this will probably be quite an upgraded version from my video, I think 2 years ago maybe 3. So you might have noticed the backdrop has changed quite a bit from then. So I have my own little beauty room. I've done some of these prints myself just behind me. Some of them are, these two are just prints, and then these are just little drawings that I've put in frames. And then I've got some shelves behind me with like brushes and makeup and stuff. And then I've got quite a bit in front of me as well. So let's get cracking with the video. So to start off, I usually prep the skin with the Primark dupe for the Bobbi Brown. I think it's the face base. So I just use a little bit just around somewhere, like around the T-zone kind of thing. Face prepped for some foundation. So before I start my foundation, I usually go in and do my brows. So I just use, at the minute, to start off with, I just use some brow gel just to shape up the eyebrows, just so they look a little bit less like I've just rolled out of bed. So I usually just start off with like a clear black brow gel just to give them a bit of shape. Definitely my eyebrows are not twins. They're definitely sisters rather than twins. But we try to make it work. So from there I tend to go in with the P. Louise brow pencils. I think that they're in the shade Espresso. My eyebrows are pretty black, like they're pretty dark. So I tend to have to go a lot darker. I just tend to fill in a little bit underneath, just because this is a little bit sparse compared to the top. I don't tend to drag it down any more than the furthest point of the hairline that it goes to, because it looks a bit, I think it looks a little bit unnatural, so I just go to that point. Then I'll fill underneath, just there. So it's just any, and then when I get to the middle, I do it very lightly. Then I'll get the end of the little spoolie, and then I'll just drag that up, just so it gives it a bit more of a natural kind of ombre effect, so it's not too in your face and dark in the middle. So if I do that again, if you see, it's just like gives it a little bit definition just by it's just got a little like faint line. Then I'll just finish the other side. So if you can see, it kind of goes from lighter to darker. So once my brows have done, I tend to go in with a P. Louise base on my eyes, just around my eyebrows. At the minute I'm using the I think it's the Ruma 2.5, and then I'll just get cut creasing brush. I have quite a lot of the P. Louise ones from the crisp packets, and I think this one is 7072 number. And then I'll just carve them out a little bit just so they've got a bit more definition. And they're, because I don't tend to put too much, I don't really put any eyeshadow on, I just tend to just put a bit of powder on, so I just put this down so just the eyelid isn't just bare. So I'll do that and then I'll come back once that's done. So now I've done my eye base, I'm going to go in and do my face base, which I'm using the Fenty Beauty Erase Drop Blurring Skin Tint. I just use the Coco Cosmetics sponge just to put that in. Sometimes I use a brush, just depending on how quick I want to be. If you're trying to do your makeup quick, use this. So once I've done that, then I'll go in with some concealer. Just trying to pick which one I'm going to use. I think I might use the Maybelline Eraser Multi-Use Concealer. I used 2 different shades. I'm just trying to look for the other one that I laid out. Just 1 second, I will be back. So I found the other shade, so I used one darker and one lighter. The darker one seems to be running out, so I'll probably have to pick another one of that up. So I just kind of put the 2 darker ones, 2 blobs really, on the darker one in the inner corner and the outer corner. On my chin, just give that a bit of a, and then on my forehead, just give it a bit of a, kind of like a triangle effect. Then I use the lighter one, so I just tend to use a little dab in the middle, and just a little dab on top of these ones I've already done, and then the lighter one right down the middle of the centre of my nose. So just go back in with a different side of the sponge. So I always look up. I don't tend to pull any faces when I go under my eye, just to avoid any creasing later on in the day. So I tend to put, I don't tend to put any bronzer on my forehead, just because I've got quite a small forehead, so I just tend to try and lighten it up to try and make it a little bit more. So there, I've put my hair up. I'm just going to continue to buff this concealer out. And just lightly go over my eyes. So that's my base done, so I'm going to now go in with my little powder puff just to set the powder on my face. And then I'll go in with a bronzer just to just kind of bronze my face up a little bit, because I'm quite a pale person, so once you've got the product on, I just tend to like give it a little bit of tap on the back of my hand so it's not overwhelming. Last thing you want is to put a bit of bronzer on and then all of a sudden your face has just got a brown patch, and it's easier to add than take away. So as I said, I think before, I'm not sure, I don't tend to put any on this bit of my forehead because it's not a huge forehead, so I don't need to like minimise it. So I just tend to do my cheekbones and kind of move it up a little bit so it goes round into it. So instead of doing the 3, I just kind of do a little bit of a C with a smaller brush, which is just this little Eco Tool brush. It's got the tips you can change, so you can change. I've got like a little box with them where you can change them, so it's great for travelling. So you only really need to take this and then your little brush heads, and then I just tend to just do a little triangle on the bottom of my nose, and then kind of make that into a little bit of a circle, if you can see there. And then I just go down the sides just ever so lightly, and then I tend to I tend to use the Real Technique, a lot of the Real Technique brushes, just like they're quite old. I do have like loads of different brushes, but my comfort brushes are probably the Real Technique ones for my everyday makeup. So I just tend to go in with that as, again, product, just give it a tap for the blush, and just usually on the apples of my cheeks, just give it a little bit of colour. not massive amounts, just because it's meant to be every day. So if I was doing some makeup for my Instagram, it'd probably be a lot heavier blush, and then I tend to go on my nose so it blends the contour out as well from before. I tend to just use the Carmax lip balm on my lips at the minute, just because my lips are really dry. I think it's getting to that time of year again. So I just go in with the Benefit mascara, just because I really like the wand. So I just give it a couple of coats. Because I've got really long eyelashes, I don't tend to need too much on my lashes to make them stand out, so I just try and use the wand to separate them, and they're not like too clumpy and look like spider's legs. I just tend to just try and fan them out. Do a little bit on my bottom lash line, and then sometimes if I am putting like a lipstick on, I think I tend to go for something a bit more nudie. I just tend to blend it out so it's not too in your face. And it also like depends on the time of year, because like when it gets to like autumn and winter, I tend to use like more of a, like maybe sometimes I use a red, sometimes I use like a reddy brown, just because as it's like summer turning into autumn, I tend to use like pinker nudes just because of the weather. But this is just my simple everyday makeup that I do at the moment. Then I'll tend to either straighten or curl my hair. I'll put it up in a bun. So if we just style the hair quickly, and then I'll be ready to go out. Just like that, with a little clip in the back. And I think that is me done. So if you've got any questions, please leave them down the comments below. Thank you for watching my video.